Alright, let's take a look at glycolysis. So basically we have got our glucose, which needs to be broken down into ultimately pyruvate. And if we think of glucose as being 6 carbons and pyruvate as being 3 carbons, then we need to get from here to here. And we know that's via quite a few different complicated steps. But I think for the exam that we're going to be sitting, we don't need to know all of those complicated steps. So let's just outline the main two. So step number 1 is the investment phase. And it costs us 2 ATP. And what happens in this phase? Well, basically we take our 6 chain carbon, which is our glucose, and we need it to get broken into 2 lots of 3. But at this stage, each of these 3s have got a little phosphate attached to it. And that phosphate has actually come from the ATP, which is why it costs 2 ATP. And one of the important enzymes to know here is hexokinase, which helps to create this phosphorylation of the 2 3 carbon chains. Okay, so once we've got those 2 3 carbon chains, we can move into the payoff phase. So let's say number 2 is our payoff phase. Okay, that pen's not working. Let's try a different pen. So our payoff phase. So this is where we have our 3 chain, we could call them PGAL for phosphoglyceraldehyde. Let me write that down over here. PGAL, phosphoglyceraldehyde. So we've got our 2 little PGALs over on this side. And each of these is going to go through a fairly complex process to turn into our pyruvates. Okay, so in the process we're going to lose these 2 phosphorus, and we're going to gain a couple of other things. So we're going to have some NAD+, which has been hanging around, which is going to turn into NADH. Very handy, because we need that for the electron transport chain. NAD+, NADH. Okay, so we've got those guys. And then we also have 2 for each of these of ADPs that get to turn into ATPs. So this is ADP plus our little phosphorus, ADP plus a little phosphorus, and same on this side. So overall, we can see that the process of glycolysis takes us from glucose to pyruvate via 2 stages, the investment phase and the payoff phase. In the process, we have to spend 2 ATP to form these PGAL phosphoglyceraldehydes, and then they get turned through a series of steps into pyruvate, our net gain is plus 2 NADH and plus, well, we get plus 4 ATP, but then we minus the 2 that we invested, equals 2 ATP net gain. And then this can all go through to the Krebs cycle, or the citric acid cycle.